Today's one of those days where I'm inspired to do something that I wasn't planning on doing because I'm going to be pulling apart a lot of stuff in the front here. I need to change the switch, and I was waiting to do that until I had a tachometer, which I do, and I was waiting to do that until I had a new speedometer gear, which I don't have. But the important thing about the speedometer gear is you want to know if it's a 25 or a 26 tooth gear, because some 92 and 93 models, this being a 93, had a 26 gear tooth. Now, one tooth makes about 3% of difference. I also didn't want to take out the speedometer until I had the instructions to fix the overheating sensor on the compensator unit for the temperature. So you can see how those 1, 2, 3, 4 things all kind of postponed themselves until now. So I've got some tools. I've got the screwdrivers that came with the car, with the Torx bits, and we're gonna just pry some things off here. First one's very basic. Just pry these guys out. Of course, that's my headlight switch, because my actual headlight switch doesn't work. The nicest thing about having this headlight switch here is it's what I like to call stealth mode. I just do that because it makes me feel cool. Basically, stealth mode is where I have headlights but no taillights. So I can see where I'm going, but people can't see where I am from behind. Alright, we got 2 Torx bits here. And also we're going to have 2 over here. So you're going to pull that knob. They have little flat sides on the back, so you'll know how they go back in. Alright, pry this cover. Okay, cover's out of the way. Okay, the bracket's out on the left side. The 4 Torx are out. There's 2 on that end and 2 on this end. You're going to want to wiggle it out a little bit from the left and a little bit from the right. Should take you all of a few minutes just to get this far. You'll find some resistance because your dashboard is warped, like mine probably is, and also, you want to straighten the steering wheel once it gets halfway out. I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'll be right back. On the back side, there are going to be several connections. They are more or less obviously accessible, and some of the bigger connections, if you can see, you might want to tape them, label them, whatever you got to do to keep in mind. Take a picture, don't forget where they go. The larger connectors, of course, will go right back in where they came out, but don't mix up any of the small wires. With the steering wheel straight, we'll be able to disconnect all of those, and then this comes up and out. Alright, our cluster is out. Looks like there was only 5 connections. That's great. So we've got this male spade terminal, the speedometer, bunch of gauges, bunch of other gauges. This one here goes to the corner right there. This is a reset bar for the service light, and right there is where you would probably press that in with something. Let's see, I've never actually reset my service light. Yep. So when you push that little bar right there, it will push this little lever over here to reset your service light through magic. Magic's pretty cool, and it looks like this tube here. Great. Now, while we're back here, got a couple of things to do. We're going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, pull out our clock, throw it in the garbage. Now I'll probably sell it to somebody, and put in my tachometer. To remove the odometer, we're probably going to want to remove one. That will already be out. This screw, this one, that one, this one as well. And the whole face will come out. Now be careful not to lose that. That should just come and stay attached to all this here. And then we will have our compensator board. I think it's these little terminals here. We're going to find the wire that we used to jump and fix our wonky gauge that likes to do this. Sometimes it's super hot, sometimes it's dead cold. It's always lying to me. For some of these are very basic twist-on types. They actually look kind of nice. Aren't they cute? And these guys, I think I used up all my little LEDs here on the center console, but also kind of cute. And now with all these screws removed, you can take a break, have a beer, come back, and this will lift straight on up. Voila, the inner workings of the cluster. Another problem I always have with these cars is the dust drives me crazy. What I'm thinking of doing is maybe adding a little felt strip all the way around, or maybe a rubber strip to keep some of that dust out. Because you can see it gets past this here in the corners, and it just looks bad. I like to be detail oriented. So you also notice, if this is your first time doing something like this, there will be one or two lights that you probably never ever use that don't apply to your car. For me, I just have one square next to my upshift light. Now that our clock is out, just pulled straight out of there, rumor has it that this little red and white wire back here is the tachometer signal wire that comes from the coil, and it's all ready to go. While I'm changing my headlights, thought I'd show you at least how that's done. Grab some pliers, or if you want a really deep socket, but this isn't very tight, it's just on plastic. Grab some needle nose pliers or any sort of plier and loosen this nut. That'll push out through the back. You'll see it come around here. It's in my other video where I'm at the junkyard changing a headlight switch. I'm sure the 93 switch is not that different from the 84. Here we have a broken tachometer needle, which I have twisted and pulled straight out. It has a tiny little needle attachment there. And it looks very similar to that, and it's actually the right length as the other needle here from a spare odometer that I had. And probably the same as one of the clock needles too. But I'm basically going to put that on here and rotate it till it's in the right position. Here it is, it's all pulled out. On the side, we have the gears. And these two screws are going to remove a assembly of a couple of gears. So do it slowly, make sure you know where everything goes. And just a bunch of other little stuff. It's cool. If you have a cable speedometer, I should say this now, this is very similar, but you will have to unscrew the cable backing before you pull the gauge cluster out. And it shouldn't be too hard to get those gears out and count them. To remove this from the cluster, see those 4 holes in the back? That's it, 4 screw holes. I think those upper 2 also in the clear plastic there. And I've got a number, it's a 1546, and then it says 3.93, which I'm guessing is my rear axle ratio. To prevent another needle break, you're going to want to put it on something like this, tape roll. Okay, once those screws are out, this whole panel comes out. You can see one gear here and a couple of gears here. I'm going to zoom in on the broken gear. Right there, you see that missing tooth? That's all it takes. Okay, we're going to count these gears. We're going to see if it's a 25 or 26 before pulling that out. And I believe that that goes right in the middle of the larger gray gear. And you can see a little piece of the chipped tooth right there. It's really hard for me to hold the camera and point around with the screwdriver, but I wanted to tell you the reason these gears break is because they get so soft over time that it's just normal. It's a natural decomposition of the plastic. So what I could do actually is bend each one of those little rubber gears, each of the little rubber teeth with the screwdriver. I don't know if they're supposed to feel like rubber or if they're supposed to be firm plastic. When I did this on the Mercedes, it was firm plastic. And it's the same company that does the same injection molds for these cars. It's possible Volvo did a soft rubber, and that just ended up being a short life. Anyways, I put the 2 screws back in. I don't want to leave that without. Now I'm going to move on to putting the tachometer back in, putting this back in. 25 teeth, that's how many I've got. I counted one way around and one way the opposite direction. And I'm gonna put all this back together, get it in the car, and see what we can do about these light bulbs. Okay, it got dark pretty quick. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. This is the temperature compensator board. My finger here is on pin number 1. That's 2, 3, and 4. We're going to jump 1, 2, 3. But we're going to just basically pry this out, throw it away, and be jumping the pins there. So from where we're looking at now to be the bottom pin to the 3rd pin. And if you don't want to solder, you can just get a little jumper wire, crimp it on there. It's worked for people before. This gauge comes out with 2 little screws, bolts, nuts. That's the one. And that was a very easy fix. I was very glad that I didn't have to unsolder anything. Those pins just go in there. They slide in very easily, and this slides out very easily. There's a little bit of a pry spot there and there, but pretty easy. A lot of people have luck cleaning these terminals, but it's a band-aid on a poor design at best. So jumping, it's going to be more reliable. And it turns this into a more analog gauge instead of this circuitry where it's keeping it steady. Voila, folks. There you have it. Let's put this back together and get the car back on the road. The older 240s had a gloss face instead of the matte face. Of course, you can tell a lot more with the flash on, but for now it'll do. And when I find one of those, I'll probably stick one in. But I'm happy with this in the meantime. I think there was a rubber plug that went there. I must have dropped it or misplaced it somewhere. Otherwise, I also greased the little reset light for the service light, the button. Put some WD-40 because it kind of gets rusty throughout. And now we're going to start it and see how well it works. Okay, here goes. Looks like the lights still don't work. So this only works with the brights. That's when I get while these headlights are on. It's too bad. I can live with it. Alright, here we go. Nice. Cool, all set.